Table calculations, configuring quick table calculations. While we can control quick table calculations using the compute using, we can also provide further configurations using the Edit Table Calculations dialog box. So let's go back into Tableau Desktop and explore this. So now that we have no more use for this, let's delete this sheet. Let's create a new one and let's call this Configuring Quick Table Calculations. So what I'm going to do now is build something very simple. Just like before, I want us to take order date and drop it into columns. I want us to take cells, drop that into rows. Let's right click on columns and let's make this a monthly chart. Nice and simple. Let's duplicate cells. So I'll keep your hand on control, drag to the right to duplicate this. Now I want to turn this into a quick table calculation. However, we could choose running total. As you remember, this is now doing a running total of everything that we have. We can break this down again. Again, repetition is king. Let's drag order date into. So now we're splitting it by years. Now I want to have something more interesting. We can go to compute using and let's just go across the pane. And to make it all look more visible, bar chart. Again, we've built this before, we're just going into a bit more depth. And again, repetition. Let's right click on our table calculation and click edit table calculation. You can see there's a few things here. One, we can change the calculation type. So this allows us to change here as well as by just right clicking and choosing the different type. We can change this, for example, running total. We can change the aggregation to average. So we can actually modify our calculation a bit. We can also base our calculations based on month or year. We'll cover this later when we look at writing our own custom table calculations. We can do some sorting. We can also add a secondary calculation. Again, this allows us to drill in with quick table calculations to almost have a form of nested table calculation. So you have one table calculation feeding into another. We're not going to add a second one for now, but please explore it. What I want us to do is look at the following, a moving calculation. So we can actually create a moving average. The key thing is, what numbers do we want to actually include, or how many do we want to include? So we can flatten the curve by actually using a moving average calculation. The key thing here to also bear in mind, again, the specific dimensions we are going to go through in a lot more depth. The key thing is that when you're dealing with quick table calculations, the edit table calculation box gives us additional settings that we can apply. For example, moving calculations, we can select the previous and the next. How far back do we go? So for example, we're going to go from -7 to 0. The other thing is, for example, if we choose rank, we can choose a different rank type. So the key thing is that quick table calculations can be controlled using compute using to show the direction of which Tableau would read your table. You can also right click and go to edit table calculations to actually further finely configure your quick table calculations. Again, Tableau has made this as easy as possible, as user friendly as possible, because quick table calculations are the entry point into table calculations themselves. So what I want you to do is try to build a data visualization using all the different types, using the exact same setup that we have here. Once you finish this, save your workbook, and I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson when we go about actual creating calculated fields with table calculations inside. So I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson.